Welcome back to the channel. Today we have Marcus here, pretty brand new coach, and we're gonna build out his whole funnel to help him get to his first 10K month. And the funnel we're gonna use today is the same that I've used to earn more than 30K per month. We've used on other coaches, and we're gonna teach you all the steps. And we are going to look at the core funnel, which is the funnel that we are running. We're going to look at the stage 1 version of it, and I'm going to compare it to, and this is the 10K per month funnel, and I'm going to compare it to the 30K per month version of it later. And we're going to walk through everything from ads to actually your profile as well, to content, to DMs, to sales and onboarding and delivery. We're going to walk through everything. But the first thing we need to get in place to make sure that we get everything correct is your ICP. So who are you helping?
Moms trying to lose 5 to 15 kilos, and usually busy moms that have not prioritized themselves. They don't have the time for themselves. They don't prioritize themselves. They struggle with the working out. They don't really get results from the working out, and then they would like to lose weight.
And these 3 pain points are going to make it perfect for us to just produce tons of content ideas. Basically, they struggle with time. Okay, how do they get more time? Do they have to say no to more things? Do you have any mental frameworks for that? Not sure how to work out for progress. What do they need to do to work out for progress? Those are all content ideas for what you can do. And not losing weight. What have they tried before? And basically, you could create a video on why whatever you tried never worked. Just myth busting all the different things they tried. How to lose weight as a busy mom, like in a busy lifestyle, and how to eat to lose weight without tracking, for example, with your family. Just an example. And you can do this in hundreds of different ways. But these are 3 content angles. We're going to look at more of them afterwards. And it's going to be mostly focused on this, because what's your main issue right now in the business?
Yeah, funneling in new leads. That's the biggest one.
Okay, so new leads. New leads in is the biggest problem right now. And that's like, if you solve that, you're easily gonna get to 10K per month. Like, it's actually that simple as well when you want to get to 10K per month. So for us right now, these 4 will be the most important, not these 3. The DMs will also be really important, and then we can look at sales and those things later down the road instead. That's not the focus right now. Basically, the core funnel, stage 1. So this is your first part of your funnel. This is the content part. And here you have 2 boxes. You have your organic content, and that can bring followers in, of course. And you have your Instagram follower ad. And this is a direct to your target customer and to your target customer's specific pain points. And we've already made this ad before this video. So we're gonna upload this as well and show you how to do that. Just set everything up through Instagram. So it's very easy. And your organic content, we're not gonna focus on that, because if you had like a huge account, you had an account where the traffic was insane from content that also spoke and related to your niche. Say you were a busy mom, you had like a crazy transformation, physique transformation. You could just market that all the time, and that would get a ton of views. Or you could use like just reaction videos. A lot of people do that, like Jack Hallow Fitness, for example. He gets tons of views just reacting to other people's content, and that could bring you followers in. But a ton of those followers wouldn't be your ICP. You wouldn't be able to, at least now, speak directly to your ICP, so you would just waste a ton of time spending time on creating this content, getting poor followers into your funnel, and those poor followers would just be bad practice for you anyways, for the rest of the funnel. So the first thing we're going to do, set up this. This is going to be your main driver of traffic to your page. And when people land on your page, there's three things mainly that can happen. The first thing is that they see your ads, they don't do anything, of course, but if they click into your page, they could say, not for me, immediately, and just leave. Then they could watch a ton of content, which is what we hope for. They click into a ton of your videos and just watch it. And basically, most of the people that does this are going to go to level 3, which is, and some are going to go to leave, but most are going to go here, and that's follow. They're gonna see a bit of your content and they're gonna follow you, basically. So very few people are just gonna follow immediately. So this is very important that your profile is optimized first. So we need to just optimize your Instagram profile. Here's your profile right now. You have started to post a ton of videos. And basically, when you enter the page, the only thing with these styles of videos that I can see immediately is that we have no text on the start of the video. So they wouldn't know which video to watch. So that's something immediately, just to fix on the profile immediately. You could add some text just as a front page. On the beginning of your video, you could add a text box with whatever the video is about, like a text hook, and then you could start the video off there, and then people would see what the video is about. These are very good, right? These, which we set up, the reintroducing post, where you talk about yourself, and also a story from a client, a success story from a similar client, which is perfect. And this is also the one we're using in the ad. And then we have your bio. Help mothers lose 5 to 15 kgs without excessive exercise and complicated diet. So this is a pretty good bio, but you're missing something. You're missing the DM code word, right?
Yeah.
So you need to have, first of all, we should add some emoji, something that they would relate to. It could just be something simple like this. And we don't have to have this all caps either. You could just fix that later, but not all caps. And then we will have just a message. So DM me.
Ready?
Ready. Okay, so you see now immediately, it just pops a bit more with the emoji and with the DM. And you basically don't want to scream at them when they enter your profile. So let's not do all caps on everything. One more thing, get the blue tick.
Yeah.
Yeah, as we talked about.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. When people now land on your profile, they're going to see a ton of different content, speaking exactly to their pain points. I'm coming back to that. They're going to follow you, and from there we can move on in the funnel. The first thing we need to do with the ads is just setting everything up. So let's upload the ad. We're just gonna click create, ad, then do an ad which is not from the profile. You can also do this from the profile, by the way. You can post it first. So here is the ad. We want to make it the right format, and we're gonna...
It's important to not do this on Instagram, but use the website.
Yeah. Don't do it in the app, because that's gonna be 30% more expensive. So you want to do it here. Følg meg for masse tips til hvordan du som travel mor skal gå ned i vekt, skal stramme opp kroppen og føle deg 100% vel i en uten strenge dietter eller programmer.
Så bruker jeg jo dialekt også, egentlig.
Ja, det er greit. All right, so here we just have a short line of basically your offer. And then we're gonna just set up the ad, but you're gonna choose, go to your profile, the top option, and you're gonna remove show on Facebook. Just remove that. You want it on Instagram. So just remove show on Facebook, okay? And then you're gonna create your own, and you're just gonna choose your niche here. Women, 35, right? To 60.
I'm sure there's some women that are...
Okay, so 30.
Yeah, I guess.
30 to 60. Then you're going to set your budget, and you're going to have it at around 200 kroners per day. So 20 bucks per day in the beginning. And after that, you're going to ramp it up. If we see the results we want from this ad, you're going to ramp it up a bit, about 20% maximum per day. That's the most you can increase it, okay? So don't ramp it up too much at once, especially with a new ad account. So after they follow you, this is the first goal, right? You need to get that follow. After they follow you, you have to just continuously do something called trigger them. And I'm going to explain this. We have 5 levels here. We have level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. This is like a conveyor belt, basically. Your leads are going to move through this, and in the end, they're going to buy. But there are levels to this. So a level 1 lead will come in, and they have not seen anything of your message, of what you do. And most coaches already fail on this level. I'll get back to that. This is level 1. So level 1 is called consistency. In this level, everything you need to do is to be consistent with whatever you're posting. So if you're doing, say, 7 reels per week or 3 reels per week and 2 carousels, you want to just be consistent with this. And maybe a YouTube video or a podcast. For your niche, YouTube, no point, at least in Norway, and then use just a Spotify podcast, basically. You want to be consistent with that. And when you're consistent, people are going to slowly and steadily see more of you, trust you a bit more. Everything here, by the way, is about trust. The further down they move, it's more about trust. Okay. Level 2 is curiosity. Okay, yeah. Curiosity. And basically, level 2, when you've filled level 1, you've been consistent, you've been posting a ton, they're going to move over to get a bit curious. And here, it's all about continuing to repeat yourself. You need to repeat your message. Because if you now say you've been speaking of for mothers, they need to have a plan where they can eat with their kids. That's what they've been missing, right? And you say that 10 times. They are going to move down, right? Because they've heard it so many times. And they need to hear it so many times, by the way. You need to get bored of whatever you're saying. Because it's really important that they understand this is the exact solution for me. And for every time they hear it, it's going to get slowly pushed into their mind. And it's slowly going to move them down this conveyor belt. Till the end of the conveyor belt where they are sold, basically. And if you now start saying, oh, but it's not just a plan for eating, it's something completely different. You need to do hormone fixes. You're back to level 1 again, right? Because now the message hasn't been consistent. They're not curious in the same thing anymore. They start back at level 1. They might even unfollow you after that, actually. And if you keep repeating your same message, just in all of your content, speak to the pain points. Press on the pain points, right? Be consistent. And here is the most important part of curiosity and consistency, these levels. You post this type of middle of funnel content where you show that you are relatable and you know what they need help with, basically. So that's just value posts, basically, and relatability posts. So relatability. These styles of posts are going to make the customer feel like they know you. And that's going to move them on to level 3. So level 3, here is where you want to push on pain and you want to show them you have full understanding. Let's just shorten that. Full understanding of exactly where and what they're struggling with. So you want them to feel like, okay, this guy actually knows more about my problems than anyone else. And here it's even more essential to keep repeating, right? Repeat yourself again and again and again. And this is starting to move into more bottom of funnel, right? So here you're going to press on pain points. Repeat the same pain points. Whereas in level 1 and 2, in these points, it's more important to give value to the pain points and relate to the pain points. Just relate. They need to be able to relate to your content, not necessarily to you, but to your content. And this is level 1 and 2, middle of funnel. Bottom of funnel, pain points to your content. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, and then after repeating yourself way too many times, right? You're gonna feel like you've repeated yourself way too much. This happened to us. I've explained this before, but this happened to us just a while back, where I thought I'd said the same thing too many times in a row. So I swapped my messaging. We went from a 25K month down to like 10K month after that. Just because I swapped the messaging. It was literally just that. Because what happened? Every single level 3 person, they were so close to be level 5. And I just moved them back up, right? All right, so level 4, this is called influence. And what does influence mean? It means that you have influence over that person. They trust you now. And what you can do is here you want to come with an offer. But this is something we'll walk through afterwards. All right, back to the funnel. This is how you do your content, right? So you want to just set up a posting schedule for yourself. Let's say you do 3 or 4 reels a week. 2 carousels. Carousels does really well right now on Instagram. 2 carousels, and then you have 6 posts per week. And you can start doing, not yet, we're not going to do this yet, but after a while, we're going to start doing 1 podcast a week. All right. So that's 4 reels and 2 carousels, and you're going to post on your stories every single day. So stories daily. All right. Now that you have this, you have the consistency. We're going to push people down to level 4. All right. And now things are getting more interesting. Now you have to do a complete different task than content. This is very important because your content is only going to get you so far. You need to have other things in place for this to work. So they're on your Instagram profile. The second they follow you, I want you to either create a personalized follower message, like a voice note. Something that, because your niche hasn't received like a ton of voice notes yet. But in a while they will. So follower messages won't work as well. And you have to be less direct in your follower messages. Because basically, if someone joins you and they're on level 1, they don't trust you. Your follower message then is, oh, hey, do you need help with coaching? That's going to be a shit message. You're going to push them away. What happens then is that instead of being on level 1, they're just out, right? Okay, so basically the follower message, make it very, very soft. And for each and every message, this is very important. You want to figure out a few different things. Let's just cover inbound first. So when people are curious enough from just watching your content, they're going to contact you. When they're pushed towards level 4, they're going to contact you. If they contact you, if you pitch someone too early, level 3, level 2, level 1, level 1 is just going to leave, as I mentioned. But level 2 and 3, you're going to get clients that are not willing to pay. We talked about this before, but you have levels of clients, right? Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Level 1 clients won't be able to pay. They will pay less than $100 a month. Level 2 clients will be able to pay a bit more, but you haven't pressed on enough pain. They haven't evolved into the right type of client. But when they truly trust you and they know you have the solution, when you have influence, you can basically sell anything. Of course, not like just any price, but you can sell a really good offer to your niche, the perfect offer to your niche. And you're going to get the correct client as well, because you attract a certain type of client with your content, with your style of communicating. So, all right, let's look at this. Inbound requests could be something like Claude, your ready code word. And it could also be something like, for example, how does your coaching work? Now, for both of these, on this one, you need to be a bit more careful, right? You want to move them slowly. Use more personal language. Just move them slowly. Get to know them a bit. But when you start noticing that they are opening a bit more up, or when they mention this themselves, how does your coaching work? Do you have space on your coaching? These are the things I want you to figure out every single time. This is your DM funnel, by the way. And here, now we're at the point of qualifying. So let's look at that. How do you qualify them? You want to ask them what their goal is. You need to know exactly what their goal is. You need to know what their challenge is. That's number 2, challenge. And if they don't fill this one out completely, you need to know what the true drive is. What's their actual drive? It's not enough to want to lose weight. You need to know that these are the mothers that you want to help. Their drive is that I don't get enough time in my day to actually prioritize myself. I always prioritize everyone else. I can't lose weight no matter what I do. My challenge, I've tried everything. I tried all these different things. Like you're just gonna hear things and you're gonna be like, oh my God, this just describes my ICP, right? And then you know they're qualified. If they don't have a drive, you're gonna disqualify them. There's no point. There's no point in spending more time on that. If they answer like super short, no drive, just disqualify them. Then how long? So how long have they felt like this, right? How long have they been stuck? And you could also sometimes ask what they tried if they don't fill that out on challenge. So after this, they are qualified. And now you want to move on to get them ready for the call. So this is how you do that. You ask them, is this something you want help with? Is this something you've been looking for help with? So do they need help, right? Help, just help question mark. And then you can just pitch a call. You can literally just offer your help. You can go straight to offer your help. But a lot of the time, they will still be skeptical here. Maybe they don't feel like it's a perfect time. They're not objection handled completely from your content or from the DMs or whatever. Then you should have this later, not right now, but you should have podcast episodes talking, or long form content, just long form content in general, a video talking about just, it's called a VSL. It's a virtual sales letter. It's a video talking about what you do, social proof from a ton of clients, what objections people that are watching are having, and why those objections aren't actually true. Like, you objection handle, pre-handle. And then they are going to come back into here. They're going to ask you again, inbound request. And if they don't, you're just going to follow them up. But this is for later. All of this is for later. Okay, so let's not look too much at that right now. Anyways, when you offer your help, if they don't do it, just follow up, track them, and follow up later. So you have your tracking sheet. Just track, follow up later. Just write them in that list. Follow up within a week, max. And then if you offer your help, they don't answer, you follow up within a day, tops, every single time. If you feel like this is a warm lead, a qualified lead, follow up within a day, every single time, until they give you an answer. So for like 4 to 5 times before you stop. And then you can not disqualify them, but track and follow up later. All right. Does this make sense so far? Okay, perfect. When you pitch the call, just send a voice note and explain. This is something almost no coaches do. This is so powerful. When you know they want help, you want to pitch to their exact pain. So I want you to send them a voice note. This is so powerful right now that you don't have a high volume. This is so powerful. You just explain to them, all right, so I think this is definitely something we can do. And I'll just explain like this. It's not sure this will fit you perfectly, what I'm saying now, but this is what I see for most people that contact me. You explain their pain. When they try different things, when they have the life there, basically just explain all their pain points for all their clients. Like, what's the pattern that you see? They don't know how to do nutrition and training with a busy life. They have no time to prioritize themselves. And what's the result of that? Their body is not where they want to be. The results are not where they want to be. They don't feel well. Just explain everything. But, and then you have the turning point. It doesn't have to be that hard. And after the turning point, you just explain, when you get, now we get to your deliverables. So we need these later.
Yeah.
We need to fix this later.
Yeah.
You explain your deliverables. And basically, when you explain that, you say the result of the deliverables. You're going to be able to lose weight, even with your family. You're going to be able to eat with your family. You're going to be able to have progress in the gym without spending a lot of time. And the best part, you're going to be able to keep the results forever. Is this something like you're looking for, or am I just completely off track here? Ask them that question. They're going to come back and they're going to say, this is exactly what I'm looking for, right? And then you pitch the call. All right, so this is something we can talk about forever on Instagram. The best thing would be if we could just book a call, me and you. We look at where you are right now, where you're going, exactly how the plan can look, and just everything around that to make sure we're 100% fit, and you book them. That's when you book them. All right, make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is of course a simplified version of this. We're gonna work on this, on just looking at DMs all the time, just tracking every single data point, and then figuring out where it's breaking. You can't go perfect with only this from start. You have to keep reiterating, of course. And that goes for all the points we've been through. Okay, so basically, that's gonna bring us to the offer, right? That's the offer. That's level 4. This is where you present them. The offer to help. That's level 4. And from there, you pitch them with the voice notes, which I mentioned, just the whole voice note, the 3 to 4 minute voice note. And that's gonna push them to take a call with you. And level 5 is basically after that call. So we're gonna go through that afterwards. But okay. Your content, it's still gonna nurture them, right? Even when they book the call, they're gonna look at your content. So it's important that you keep your message all the time. And for some rare occasions, you can DM close people, but this won't be relevant for you right now anyways. But For example, we have DM closed like half of the sales this month, but that's because we've had a filled calendar, and hiring another salesperson would just be crazy expensive. We would lose so many sales. So anyways,
I did try to DM close someone a couple days ago and didn't hear back from them.
yeah, no, you should definitely not do that. Definitely not. If you are to DM close, you have to have insane amounts of urgency in your content, insane amounts of pain pressed from your audience already, and you need to have a very good DM close video you send them.
Yep.
A very good video. So, all right, let's look at that later anyways. Call schedule. So where do you go from here? You need to send them a pre-call asset. This is just a short video. You could just record like I'm doing right now on Loom and explain. But basically, here's just thank you for booking the call. Just thank them. And you're just gonna explain what the video is for. So I'm just gonna explain exactly how this works. And you walk through very short who you help, who the call is for, right? So if you're on this call, if you are watching this video, it's a very big chance you're this person. And you're gonna explain very short how you help, like what's your offer, not very deep in depth, but just, and I help. The way we can help you is by getting up the plan, getting up the this and that, and basically make you able, the same thing that you actually explained in your message that you sent. And then in the end, you're gonna show proof for all I need you to get ready on for the call. And then that's basically their tasks, is to get clear on exactly where you are now and exactly where you want to go. That's all I need, and we'll cover all the rest on the call. Thank you. That's going to set the expectations for the call. By the way, before that, just explain the logistics of the call. I almost forgot. You need to have the time they need to have, and always, you're never going to take a call with someone if they're out on a walk, if they're around at a lot of noise. Make them be in a quiet place where they can have full focus.
Reiterate it so they know for sure that you need to be.
Yeah. Because if they're on a walk, they're not going to pay full attention. So you want to have someone's full focus when doing a sales call. When you book them, by the way, this is really easy. Just set up a Calendly link. This is going to make it a lot easier. You can have some questions to qualify them even more. This is not the priority right now, but you will very soon set up some questions. This is going to qualify them even more. When they join the call, you have already asked them things like their deepest pain points, right? So deepest struggle right now. You're going to ask them their biggest goal in X amount of months. So that's going to set the expectations of how long they should be in the program. And then if they're ready to invest. So you know that they're not on the call.
Do you use the word invest, or do you put it?
Yeah, I use the word invest.
Okay.
So I recommend that rather than saying the price, for example. Which price are you willing to pay?
Yep.
So, okay, they book the call through Calendly. They automatically, by the way, you can set this up, get an email through Calendly with a pre-call asset. But right now, you just send this in DMs. You just send it to them in DMs. So you got the call booked. Perfect if you could watch this video before the call. All right, so they come qualified. They come warm because of this. And they're qualified in the form as well. They're really qualified when they're on the sales call. For most calls now, it's going to be easy close. They're going to be a one lead, right? Some calls, of course, will be lost. You have to master the art of sales as well, like how to actually run a sales call. But very few calls will be a no-show because you confirm with them on DMs by sending the asset. You've had a long personal conversation. If you run like form ads where people just book themselves in, they book themselves in online, what's going to happen? They're not going to show. It's not personal. They're just going to get cold feet and they don't know where to contact you, etc. So they're going to end up in one of these two. With the sales call, do you have like a proper script you're using?
I do not have a proper script that I'm using, but it's going to be something like, what made you book this? Why are we here?
Okay, let's look at that.
Yeah.
What's your script right now?
Oh. What issues do you have in regards to working out and
Okay,
weight?
so what's your biggest struggle, basically?
What's your biggest struggle right now?
Yeah.
And then some way I try to turn it into, how are you sure you can't do this on your own? Are you 100% certain you can do this on your own? Or is this something that you might need help with?
Okay, so we'll walk through. But basically, why can't they do it solo?
Yep.
And what else?
And then
Then the product.
well, then there has to be, there has to be some sort of decision whether they can do it on their own. Probably they can't do it on their own, and that's when you announce the product. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, if they can't do it solo.
If they can't, obviously, yeah.
Exactly, and then you pitch the price, basically.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, I'm just gonna update on this. What happens between what issues and why they can't do it solo?
Yeah. Well, usually the pain points come up. So it'll be, I don't have the time.
Yeah.
I'm confused as to Instagram or TikTok. I saw this person on TikTok do this. Some people recommended that. All kinds of confusion comes up with pain points.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right, so you dive a bit into pain points.
Yeah. We explore motivation and why we're here.
Okay, I see. All right, so I want you to structure this a bit different because here it's gonna be, they might mention that they struggle with losing weight, but they also might just mention that they struggle with getting their training done. You don't know what their goal is based on that because the issue is most people, a lot of people, especially in your niche as well, is going to think that training is essential for losing weight. But they're not going to necessarily open up that they want to lose weight in this conversation.
People have issues saying it directly.
Exactly. And also you have no setting of the frame here, as I understand it. You don't set the frame from the start. Right, so here's what I want you to do. The first thing you want to do on a sales call, this is just a very simple script, is to, number one, just talk, small talk, very short small talk, just to ease up a little bit, 1 minute, like straight up 1 minute, something personal, something personal. You have the possibility to do this. You have spoken with them on DMs. You do all of these things yourself right now, which makes it even easier to do this. Then you set the agenda. Setting the agenda, you need to make sure that the lead knows how long, right? Again, this is basically the same as the pre-call asset. But you want to say, okay, I want to figure out where you are right now, where you're going, just to make sure I know exactly how to help you, and that we're 100% of a good match. And then we'll walk through exactly how the product works, the investment, all around that towards the end when I'm certain that I have something that will help you. So what does that do? They know the price is coming later, right? So they won't stop you during the presentation, during the sales call, and just be like, but it depends on the price.
Yeah.
Right? And that's really important, first of all. And it's also going to set frame. And frame, this is probably the best tip you can ever get in sales. You almost never want to answer the question directly from the lead. They're going to ask you things throughout the call. You want to redirect the question back to them. So say they ask you, how would you set this up? Well, it would be like a ton of different ways to do it, but what do you feel like you need the most?
Yeah.
That's a way to do it. And you could also reframe it into like, on the inside of the program, I'll be able to answer this a lot better. So if they ask you a question about how should I do my nutrition right now to lose weight? You shouldn't say, this is how you do it, right? Because that's going to be a barrier. You're not going to help them with that. They're going to go from the call thinking, I can do this by myself. They're going to have no results 5 years from now, right?
And then make it your fault because they can't do it.
And it would kind of be your fault because you're a bad salesman, right? So basically, you want to set the frame and just keep the frame throughout the whole call. You'd rather say just, it's a really good question, and I'm glad you asked that. And a ton of my clients have asked that as well. But answering this right now is going to be really hard because there's going to be so many factors to make this actually work. So this is something that I can cover for you on the inside of the program. Boom, right? And then you follow that up with a question. Always, always, always. And this, the only exception to following up with an open question. Follow up every single thing you say with an open question. You basically want to do this for every single question, actually. You want to just acknowledge what they said. You want to associate, I'm not sure how you even spell that, but anyways, associate. And then you want to attack with a question. Associate means like you associate, you normalize it, you associate it to something. Not always you want to do this either. You don't always have to associate, but you at least want to acknowledge what they said. Sometimes you might summarize if they said a billion things. And then you don't stop, you don't wait for the customer to keep saying anything. You want to attack with an open question. And one last thing you need to have in place. When they speak, just stay silent. Just wait. Okay?
Just shut up, yeah.
Yeah, you want them to speak. You just want to open them up. You're just going to ask questions to guide them through selling to themselves. And then you're going to present the perfect pitch in the end, right? It's not really a sale. It's just giving them what they need, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense. So after you set the agenda, ask about their goal. You want to figure out the goal and the drive behind it. Are there any other goals? Then you want to move into just data gathering. What are they doing right now?
Yeah.
Just with their training, nutrition. Then you want to ask about pain. So the thing that they're not reaching their goal, how is this affecting their life? How is it affecting the people around them? Right? Just dig very deep in pain and make sure you choose the correct pain point to dig. You should know this inside and out with your niche.
Yeah.
And after a while, you'll just know it better and better and better. And when you review sales calls as well, you're gonna get really good at this. Then we're gonna the last qualification. And this is just for them to self-qualify. This is where you ask them, just what you ask them. Okay, so is this something you want? It might be a stupid question, but is this something you want to do now? Alone? What happens if you do this alone for 6 months? And then if they say, I might be in my goal alone as well. Okay, so then why would you consider coaching? Like, what makes you consider getting help with this? If you could get to your goal yourself, what makes it better to do it with someone else? Just try to open them up on that. We're not going to go any deeper into this, but the end is just presenting the product and then asking if they have any questions, so questions, and then the price. All right, logistics plus price. You want to explain like the duration and everything. The last thing you drop is price, and then you just ask them how it sounds, basically. And you want to wait until they answer. If you just keep yapping about, oh yeah, but we can do it this way, it won't work. And then you go into objection handling, but we won't cover any of that now.
Okay.
That's the sales call. And doing this exact script, having qualified, pre-qualified, your close rate should be above 50%. It should be above 50%. If you have higher volume, like super high volume, and you qualify poorly, you don't do a pre-call asset, it's going to be lower. You're going to lose more leads. When they're lost, they move straight back to follow up later. Okay, now this is the level 5 decision, right? So what do we do after this? And by the way, for sales calls, if anyone watching this right now, and you included, if you don't have Fathom set up or a recorder, just get that set up. You can even link this to Claude just to create content.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So Fathom, set it up and review at least one sales call a week in the beginning. At least. You have to review this. And that's where you like reiterate and look at your script, like where did you miss? Did you not go into their pain? Did you just go straight to data rather than asking about their goal, right? So the last part we have now is the delivery of the clients. Here are the pain points. Now, which like 5 deliverables, if we set up 5 things right now, which 5 things would make their life easier right now?
Structure would be for certain.
What structure? What structure?
Well,
it's a plan, right?
I'll say like pull out a calendar and get your workouts in and get your tracking
so
in the calendar.
Planning their calendar. So you want to have some sort of like training to help them plan their calendar immediately in your program. Okay.
Interesting.
Training.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
A lot of ways to do this.
Yeah.
Okay. And the second one, what else do they need?
Well, they'll need a program that works for them.
Of course, a program, so both a training and nutrition plan, right?
A plan that works for them, yeah.
Okay. What else do they need? Like, what do they need to succeed? Because you mentioned this in your bio, right? It's without too much training and a complicated diet. And too much training, that's fine. That's from the training plan, right?
Yeah.
But a complicated diet, they would like to speak with their kids, right? Speak with their kids, eat with their kids. They can speak with their kids if they want anyways, but they want to eat with their kids, their children, their family.
Yeah.
And they probably want to eat out with friends as well. How are you solving that issue? Because that's not part of a nutrition plan, right?
Well, it's part of planning, so I would say maybe a plan A and a plan B.
Okay, so helping them create a plan A, but also planning their plan B.
And one thing I noticed as well over the past couple of weeks is I have multiple clients who've gone on vacation.
Yeah.
And what we do then. So going out to eat is sort of one plan. Going on vacation.
Yeah,
could
that's
be
all the
another
plan Bs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the vacation mode or going out to eat. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's perfect. That's perfect. So you basically want
about it.
one training here. That's like, here's how you plan out your week, every single week.
Yeah.
Here's how you do that. And then you have another one. Okay, this is exactly what you do when you go on vacation. This is what you do when you go out to eat.
Yeah.
So you just create these videos. That's perfect. And this is going to be part of like a bigger point, which is just knowledge, just tools. Let's call it tools.
Yeah.
Tools for them to use. The toolbox. Then this is, of course, the plan. And you said structure, right?
Yep.
As well. You said structure on planning, but that's structure as well. And then what else do they get? I get some access to you as well. What's that?
Yeah. Let's do some sort of personalized call, perhaps. That would be a thing that could maybe like a weekly thing. And I don't know if
weekly call.
I don't know if weekly is plausible if we're going to go about. I mean, I'm aiming high when I'm let's say.
But your niche as well. It's a busy niche. They wouldn't want a call every single week, right?
Yeah.
So you could have like a optional 20-minute weekly call, right? So they can book in with you.
Yeah.
When they need it, right?
Maybe make it bi-week or bi-monthly. I'm not sure.
Yeah, for sure. But most of them aren't gonna book. Just to make that clear, they're not gonna book it weekly.
Okay. Yep.
And there are several ways to make this happen. This is very important, actually. If you only have this call, you're cooked. Your calendar is cooked. You're gonna have so many meetings. But your niche is not gonna like that because they're busy already, right?
Yeah.
So what you want to do, you want to have just some sort of check-in weekly already. This is where you give either sound or written feedback every single week. So here they have already told you where they're at. They've told you what they are struggling with, like numbers, basically.
Yeah.
And they give you wins, by the way. Wins is really important. They have to write wins there because you can use that back in your content.
Yeah.
And basically the check-in, you just write the feedback. Now they've already gotten a ton of their problems solved. You've given them clarity for the coming week. So that's basically the weekly clarity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they have support, which is two things. You had the optional call, but you also have a chat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you are in the chat,
Yeah.
just answering. Okay, so chat for all other queues, basically.
Yeah. And right now I do this basically 24/7. Like they'll have a question and
Yeah. Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. And now we have a lot of deliverables. You have tools, the tool with the videos, right? So let's just do this. You have the program, training and nutrition. You have support, and you have full clarity. Now, for you right now, there's no point to do this, but after a while, having some sort of community.
Yeah.
Just like a weekly community call where you could teach a new tool, for example.
Yeah.
Or just a Facebook group where you could have some challenges, something to just make it a bit more fun. And that's going to work like your glue to stick to the program after a long time. All right. Now we have the deliverables in place. Now you basically have every single thing you need to be able to formulate this. You can formulate your offer from this, right? You get a plan, you get support, you get full clarity for every single week. You get access to tools that will teach you exactly how to solve every problem in your daily life. How good is that going to sound when you present the product? It's going to be a pain point. Now, the last thing we need to look at is what are you actually going to create content on, right? We have the content part here, but what are you actually going to create? And if we look at the pain points, let's just move the pain points up here. We can just copy paste that. Basically, look at the pain points here. Just some content ideas from this. It should be really easy to create. What content could you create from that they can't prioritize themselves?
Well, you can probably start off by saying that they don't prioritize themselves because they're really caring and care about others, and they have an issue with not prioritizing themselves because they prioritize others. It's like sort of, I don't know.
Another one could be that they don't plan their week, right? They don't plan their week properly,
Yeah.
and they don't have a plan B. Don't have a plan B when things doesn't go to plan.
Yeah.
Here, don't know how to train for progress in their circumstances. Okay, so what's the most important thing to focus on in training? That could be like
Progressive overload, probably the
progressive overload,
yeah.
to save time, right? To train less for more results.
Yep.
And then we could have something else like example workouts for 30 minutes at home, for example.
Yeah. Alternatives to what you're currently doing in the gym that's not working for you. You might like other exercises.
Exercise-wise, or if machines are
Taken.
taken,
Again, plan A, plan B, plan C.
do this.
Yeah.
All right, so don't know how to lose weight. 3 tips to drop weight as a busy mom. And we could have something else, which is like just explaining what are like 3 content ideas for you.
Yeah. So protein is I've made these videos before. Protein is probably something that you're not consuming enough of, and then stay full. Yeah, stay satiated. And then fiber is a nice option to also stay satiated. And then maybe reducing sugar is probably another option for most people as they consume.
So how to reduce sugar without giving it up.
Yeah.
How to lose weight while eating with your kids.
Yeah, there's calorie options, like calorie reduction options. I recently found one yesterday that is a type of rice. If you have basmati, it's 200 more calories per.
Yeah, so that would be like ingredient comparisons.
Yeah.
All right, then we have like a list. That's how easy it is. And we just spoke about this when the camera got out of power. But basically, ideas, when you create one idea, you have 100 more that just drops out. It just comes out. So when you start creating a video as well, you're just gonna think, oh, this format was nice. I could just create this and this and this and this as well. And you just want to write all of these down all the time. Write down the stories, which we've been through before, like what happens with your clients, etc., and create content on that. Speak about that using storytelling as well. And when you always have these 3 pain points in mind, what's gonna happen? Again, you're gonna be very congruent on what you speak about. And this is gonna turn in from 10x to 100x, and people are for sure gonna hit level 4. So you just keep posting on this. We put the ads into your profile. You use the DMs to qualify every single person, every single one that joins your profile, or disqualify them. You track this all the way through. You use the tracking that I provide. And if you don't have tracking, if you watch this, just set up some spreadsheet to track everything. You want to know your exact numbers, and you fix wherever it's broken. Recordings, reviews, screenshots, just always review it. So basically, we've done the 10K funnel, but this is how you evolve it later. You want to include long-form content, and this is gonna increase inbound requests, right? And it's also gonna help you schedule calls directly. It's also gonna help you qualify leads better. You're gonna have retargeting ads, so ads that also run to people that are already on your profile, that you've already spoken with, to just make them download a freebie or even send you a message. And that's a very easy way to like increase. It's like having a fishnet and then having a huge fishnet behind it, just catching every single thing that falls out. And then you are going to use your freebies again, use your long form content again, when people are not warm enough to go on a call. You're just gonna send them freebies all the time. When it comes to your call, you're gonna make a better pre-call asset. You're gonna make this automated. You're gonna use Calendly to automate everything. Here, with your onboarding, you're gonna automate your onboarding so that the second they pay you, this is important by the way, use Stripe on sales calls right now. Stripe, send them the link, make them pay on the call, always, every single time. And you can automate so that when they have paid, they get the contract, they get app access, they get the video page. And this is going to explain everything to them. So they book an onboarding call from there. They send their onboarding form from there. You do absolutely nothing here. And that is just for you to continue with the delivery. So this is the difference between like the 10K system and the 30K. There's not like big differences, but this is where it gets more advanced and you have to spend even more time doing this. So that's going to be for the future. Here you're going to want to hire a setter, hire a closer, and set up these automations, and maybe even hire someone for delivery to help you with some sort of the delivery. So that's all for today. Follow if you want more content, and yeah, Marcus is going to start implementing.